Imagine working on a game for 11 months, preparing a small playable version for your followers and friends, only to realize that the version you've uploaded was broken as hell and it makes you look really fucking stupid. Something similar happened a while ago when I released the first public version of Zwentbar. It was quite late in the night and I was tweaking small things to fix a very minor issue. In really rare occasions, cores would be destroyed upon touching the corner of laser doors in a very specific way. I tried fixing that issue and because it was so late, I forgot to run the game quickly to make sure everything works just fine. The next day, I exported and uploaded Zwentbar and made that video you may have already seen. After not even 1 hour of being online, people started telling me that the game is broken, and I finally realized what I've done. Being crushed by those massive laser doors doesn't kill the player, nor does it kill cores. This is a huge problem because it's possible to escape levels, and if new players get stuck, they have to restart the levels by themselves, using a completely unknown hotkey. And all this hassle just because I messed up fixing a small bug. A bunch of people already downloaded the broken version, so making a second video just to clarify the issue was a hassle way too large for me. So I just kept quiet and watched what happened. Okay, onto the changelog. Take a look at this old screenshot of Zwentbar. Now look at this screenshot of the newest version. Do you see any difference? I halved Zwentbar's resolution because of one important reason. When making pixel art of any kind, be it simple sprites for a game or proper drawings, I've noticed that high resolutions hinder artists, because there are too many ways to place pixels. If you want to boost your creativity, restrict yourself by using a limited amount of pixels or colors, and this is exactly what I've done. I haven't tried using a color palette yet, but I cut down the resolution of the game. Let me know your opinions in the comments. Have you ever played a game in full screen mode, with the closed blinds darkening the room? There's only you and the game in an infinite void of darkness. The display illuminates your hands, which sit lightly on your keyboard, controlling every tiniest movement of the player. Yeah? Well, I added screen scaling in full screen mode. You can now play Zwentbar and fully immerse yourself into the game. Yay! Speaking of immersing yourself in the game, I've worked on the juice of the game, you know, I'm talking about the small things. And speaking of game feel, the screen now shakes a little whenever you press buttons to destroy cores when energy clouds get created or the player dies. Moving around feels even more satisfying now, as I've made the control snappier and, well, overall spicier. The second large change I've made is also easily noticeable. In this version, lots of objects illuminate this dark world. You've heard me, there's light all over the place. Lighting is a fundamental and very important tool when it comes to creating a proper atmosphere, and I'm quite happy with the result. On top of that, I made some other small changes to the graphics. I felt like that smiley face looked a little silly, so I remade it and now it's a heart. Sweet, isn't it? There used to be a slight blue tint and a vignette on the screen, but I removed those because first off, the blue tint just messed with the colors too much, which I disliked a lot, and secondly, the new lighting effect already creates somewhat of a vignette, and overlaying another one just mangles the colors in the corners of the screen. Finishing a level doesn't just abruptly teleport you to the next room. Instead, it smoothly fades to black and then to the next level. Well, because I'm a very efficient and organized developer, I made myself a bunch of shortcuts and hotkeys to speed up my workflow. Pressing L completely disables all the lighting in the game. It looks terrible without it, but in return, the game runs a lot faster. I recommend trying the game without lighting if it runs too poorly. The K button disables stars, and I actually recommend doing so, because I haven't optimized it that well yet, so it drains a lot of valuable computing power just for a simple effect. F toggles the full screen mode, which works just fine in most cases. F1 toggles debugging information like FPS, the number of objects in the current room and stuff like that, you know. It's quite useful for myself, but as a player I wouldn't even take a single look at it. F2, F3 and F4 let you go back a room, go to the next room and restart the current level, respectively. Oh yeah, and the M button mutes the game, but I can't really think of a single situation in which you would want to mute all of these juicy sounds, you know. Speaking of sounds, I've added 3-dimensional audio, so sounds get more quiet the farther the source is away. I've also added audio panning, so sounds that come from the right side of the screen are more dominant on the right ear and vice versa. Destroying cores and dying creates a bunch of cool particles and plays really cool sounds, just give them a listen. And these are the new core unlocking and locking sounds. And the new timer buttons ticking sounds. Juicy sounds. I fixed an issue where it was possible to play the jetpack sound effects without actually moving. This occurs because pressing the left and right buttons at the same time doesn't move the player, but the sound still gets triggered. Also, flying up against the wall shook the player really fast, but now it's all smooth and fixed. In a previous episode of the making of Zwentbar, I mentioned how terrible Zwentbar runs on some devices and how a large number of objects obliterate the performance of GameMaker games. While talking to a developer of Hyperlight Drifter, Juju Adams, he told me how he optimized the game to run with lots of objects placed in the levels. Based on his little neat idea, I've made a system of my own to make Zwentbar run even better. In the beginning, the game checks every obstacle in the current room, which could be normal walls, glass panes, or other non-moving objects. It then makes one huge precise collision mask out of those and destroys the original objects. This method, which I from now on will call obstacle fusion, allows me to control collisions from one single object instead of hundreds of them, and so much faster. How many levels does Svendbar even need? I'm currently at 25 levels, which take roughly 20 minutes to half an hour to complete for new players. Instead of adding new levels to the pre-existing ones, I've changed the order of some levels and changed the core design of many others. My goal is a hassle-free experience for newcomers, and I think I'm doing a good job at designing my levels. The only thing I dislike about my so-called hidden tutorial is the lack of control explanations. It's hard for new players to understand that you have to use the mouse and a button on the keyboard to interact with cores, and I'm kind of struggling to find a way that's not an obvious explanation on the screen. Many people often ask me what Svendbar even is about, and I usually say something weird about a city in space, factories and energy cores, storage container things, and other confusing shit like that. But I think I have finally come up with a couple of short and decent enough sentences to explain Svendbar. Prepare yourselves. Svendbar is set in the not so distant future, where people rely on energy cores to get electricity. The only running core factory broke down in a massive disaster, and you're part of a small team of workers to restore an old abandoned backup factory. On your way to the disused factory, a mysterious robot-like creature shoots down your space train and you wake up in the entrance of the factory, all alone. As of now, I'm trying to explain Svendbar's story at least in the beginning of the game, and that's exactly the reason I've put so much time and effort into that 20-second long introduction sequence. It sets up the right mood for the game and roughly tells the player how he got there in the first place. Here, take a look. Once you've crashed into the factory, you're being greeted by this little room I've put a lot of effort into. It's kind of hard to tell, but this room resembles an entrance, or lobby, which has been used to greet workers back when this factory was still running. It's supposed to look really broken, dirty and somewhat overgrown. A big aesthetic inspiration of mine was Portal 2, with its obliterated levels and abandoned test chambers. I love it. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoy this game development journey as much as I do, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, see ya!